Hello, everybody. It's attorney Laura Sterling, and here we are, the month of August. Can you believe it? Kids here in Florida are already back to school. So, not really sure where you're watching from, but we're back to school. We're back to our normal grind as we usually are. Traffic is up. Anyway, I want to welcome you to my live. We're going to do a little different format these days. We're going to have shorter videos during the month to introduce you as to what the topic is. And we're going to have shorter lives, but we're going to have them more frequently. We're going to have them twice a month now. Twice. You get to see me live twice a month. Isn't that exciting for you? So the live today will run about between 10 and 15 minutes. And then the next one, which will be the last week in August, will also be about 10, 15 minutes. So go figure. We figure that, it's just going to be better to have it short, sweet, condensed, and to the point, right? You agree. Everybody does TikTok reel. It's short, it's quick. Attention's nowadays, and we're so busy, it's hard to keep up for 1 hour. So anyway, so let's get started. Hey, have a seat. Pay attention. If you have a question, please post it. We're more than happy to answer it. That's what I'm here for. So what are we here today for? We're talking about alimony. Alimony, the alimony reform bill that Governor DeSantis signed into law on July 1st of last year, 2023. So it's been in effect now for a little bit over a year here in Florida. And guess what? He actually did something that he promised to do. He promised to get rid of permanent alimony, and that's exactly what he did with this alimony reform bill. The changes apply to any final judgment that was entered on or after July 21st, 2023. So unfortunately, if you finalize your divorce on June 30th, 2023, you're out of luck, right? This happens July 1st going forward. It doesn't go retroactive back. So you can't go back and say, hey, I want the new law because your final judgment was entered before then. Believe me, this has caused a lot of little stress, a little math that I have to do. Luckily, a lot of people have calculators that I can look at to try to calculate what the alimony will be. But as I said, there is no more permanent alimony in Florida. What was permanent alimony in Florida? Permanent alimony was you got it for the rest of your life. Either you had to die or you got remarried. So those are the only times that permanent alimony would stop. The payor, let's just say the husband. I'm just going to say the husband, okay? Don't email me or anything about how, I didn't use a woman. Whatever. I'm using a man. Let's say the man is paying the wife permanent alimony. He's doing it until she dies or she remarries. But gone, no longer. And what we've done is now, instead of 4 alimonies, we now have, yep, you guessed it, 3 alimonies. So what are those alimonies? Well, we have bridge the gap alimony. What is bridge the gap alimony? It's exactly as it sounds. It bridges the gap between being divorced and being single. But now, don't think that it lasts forever, because it doesn't. It only lasts for about 3 to 6 months after the final judgment is entered. And it covers essential expenses in the first 2 to 3 months after the divorce. Essential expenses, mortgage, insurance, car, anything that's essential, getting you to bridge the gap to getting kind of that, okay, how am I going to do this? Wading in the water. How am I going to do this? How am I going to, allot my bills? It kind of gives you that little cushion. Again, it's a very short cushion, 3 to 6 months. Now, it can't be more than 2 years. It could be more than 3 to 6 months under extenuating circumstances. And actually, during the next live show, I'll talk to you about what the court looks at as far as the elements when they award alimony, what they look at, what is the criteria, how do they prove, how do we not prove, all of that. So don't worry about that. You'll get that at the next live. But this live, we're just going over the alimonies, just what they are. So this is a bridge the gap. The smallest amount will be 3 months. The largest amount would be 2 years to help you kind of get used to being single, especially if you've been married for a while. The second type, number 2, rehabilitative alimony. Just like it sounds, rehabilitative. It rehabs you. If you need career training, if you need education, if you were a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad and you need that career training and education or skills to get there. One time I had a case and the wife was she was a stay-at-home mom. She wanted to be a, what do? They transcribe medical records, something like that. Of course, this was many years ago. They may not do that anymore. But anyways, she wanted to do that. So when you ask for rehabilitative alimony, you have to spell out what the plan is. You can't just be like, yeah, I want to become a doctor, so I need rehabilitative alimony. No, you have to spell it out. How long is it going to take you? What is the cost, including books, tuition, any kind of supplies you may need? How long will it take you? When you graduate, how long will it take you to get a job based on factors of what they tell you or what you can prove? So let's say you need to take a program for 3 years. And then once you graduate, they say it'll take 6 to 8 months to get a job. And this is how much you'll make. The court can do that. They can say, okay, we're going to give you 5 years. And again, 5 years is the maximum you get on rehabilitative alimony. So it can be anywhere from 1 month to 5 years to help you get back into the workforce. Again, if you were a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad and you kind of, you haven't been in the workforce for a while and you don't know what to do and you're trying, hey, I need some training. I need some education. It's changed. Life has changed, hasn't it? We have AI, we have all these things. So I need training. So the court will allow that, but you got to show a clear education and career plan when negotiating for rehabilitative alimony or even presenting it to the court. The last one used to be the third one. Now it's the final one, durational alimony. Now, prior to July 1st of 2023, durational alimony was for the duration of the marriage. That's what we define durational alimony as. I want durational alimony for the duration of the marriage. I was married 12 years. I want durational alimony for 12 years. Not anymore. Durational alimony offers income for a set duration, depending upon the length of your marriage. So Florida's kind of extended the length of marriage a little bit. So under the new law, a short-term marriage are those lasting under 10 years. It used to be, I think, like 0 to 7 years used to be a short-term marriage, but now it's anything under 10 years. Anything from over 10, so 10 and a half to 20 years is a moderate length marriage. And again, they extended that. It used to be a little shorter. And a long-term marriage is one that lasts 20 plus years. So, I've been married 25 years. I've been married 30 years. I've been married 40 years. That is a long-term marriage. So durational alimony aims to provide economic assistance for a set period of time. It accounts for the commitments and contributions within the marriage. Now, mind you, when awarding alimony, durational, bridge the gap, rehabilitative, there are certain factors. And again, we'll talk about that during our next live show. So you got to take a deep breath, okay? Because I'm going to talk about the caps on the terms of alimony with each of them, okay? I kind of touched on it, but you got to pay attention, especially during durational alimony. But let me move on. I got a question here. Hello, Fabian. I have a question for you. What is the purpose of alimony? Oh, I get this all the time. Like I said, the purpose of alimony is for somebody who, when the courts look at it, they want to kind of make you even in a divorce, right? May not always be even, but try to make you as even as possible. So imagine, I'm going to do the wife now. The wife is a neurosurgeon. She's making $500,000 a year, and you've been working part-time at a Chipotle. I just heard about the CEO of a Chipotle, so he's in my mind. So the Chipotle making, minimum wage, which here in Florida is $12 an hour, working 20 hours a week. Look at that. Look at that gap. That's a pretty large gap. So the court says, hey, wait a minute. Mr. Chipotle here working Chipotle, which is a great job and a great restaurant. We need to kind of make it even. We need to help him get into the workforce and be self-sufficient. And depending on the marriage, on the length of marriage is how much time he's going to get in alimony. And so the wife, who is extremely higher than him in income ratio needs to kind of make it even. It might not be exactly even, but at least it's close to help Mr. Chipotle, the husband, kind of get on his feet. Maybe he's got to pick up his hours at Chipotle. Maybe he now can be a manager, but he needs some training. So we need to give him some rehabilitative. We need to give him bridge the gap because he needs to kind of figure out what he needs to do and move into that full-time position. And durational, how long have they been married? So I'll get into that. So fabulous question, Fabian. Thank you. I get all the time. Oh, Juliana. Hello, Miss Sterling. Oh, and I love your picture, by the way, Juliana. It's beautiful, beautiful dress. How is alimony paid? Is it paid directly to the receiver? It's not. It could be, but you better keep very good track of that because the receiver of the alimony can say, I never got it. Don't ever pay cash. Don't ever give cash directly. Do it we have so many apps now to transfer money. Do it by check. Do it by anything that you can keep a record of. Have it go through the Department of Revenue, although you got to pay a little fee if you do that. But make sure that you have a paper trail. Don't ever give cash for alimony and expect that you're going to get credit for it. So very good question, Juliana. So let me get into the caps on the terms of alimony. You guys have fabulous questions. I'm so happy. Florida's new law institutes caps on alimony. So rehabilitative alimony is capped at 5 years. Can't get any more than 5 years. So if you want to go to medical school, I'm not sure medical school is a total of 7 years with, your all of the residencies you got to do. So, you're only going to get 5. That's all you're going to get. Now, durational alimony, this is where it comes in. So kind of take a seat for a minute, listen closely because it gets a little tricky. For marriages lasting 3 years to 10 years, remember that's a short-term marriage, durational alimony, can't exceed 50% of the marriage length. That's not income. Don't look at income. It cannot exceed 50% of the marriage length. So because I'm, not good at math, I'm going to use a nice number, 5. If you've been married 5 years, if you've been married 10 years, see, I don't even know. If you've been married 10 years, what is 50% of 10 years? 5 years. So if you've been married 10 years, your maximum length of alimony is 5 years. That's it. Under a short-term marriage, okay? And again, that would be anything from 0 to 10 years. However, durational alimony, you get nothing from 0 to 3. If you've been married less than 3 years, you get a big old goose egg when it comes to alimony. So anyway, that's for short-term marriage. For the moderate, remember the moderate is 10 to 20 years. So if you've been married a little over 10 years to 20 years, you're capped at 60% of the length of marriage. So you're taking the number of years and you're dividing it you're multiplying it. Yeah. See, I'm not an accountant. By 60%. So whatever that number of years is, that's what you're getting in alimony. That's the length that you're going to get the alimony. Finally, and I'll get to you in a second, Melissa. Oh, what a beautiful picture. A long-term marriage is anything 20 and above, 30, 40, 50. You get 75% of the marriage length. So the longer you've been married in that long-term marriage, the more years you get because, if you're dividing 75% by 30, you're going to get more than if you divide 75% by 20. So the length that you collect, the amount of years that you collect durational depends on the amount of years that you've been married. 50% for short term, 60% for a moderate, and 75% for a long term. So knowing though that the court can always lengthen it based on circumstances. We can talk about those circumstances at the next live. Maybe if the receiving spouse is unable to work, has maybe some physical or mental disability, or they're caring for a disabled child, all those exceptions can come into play, of course. So Melissa, let me see. Good afternoon. Does everyone pay alimony in a divorce? Excellent question. Absolutely not. And we're going to talk about that during the next live. During the next live, we'll talk about how somebody is ordered to pay child support? What factors do we look at? So excellent question, Melissa. Stay tuned for my next live and we'll talk about it some more. So anyway, okay. So this is where the math comes in as well. Caps on the durational alimony payments. How much do you have to pay in alimony? There's no, like everybody wants me to guess. Well, guess, I make 50,000 a year. What am I going to pay? I don't know because I need to know what the other spouse is making. Durational alimony is paid to the recipient will be equal to the recipient's financial need or a maximum of 35% of the difference in the payor and the payees, whichever value is less. So again, they're I mean, I hate to say it, robbing Peter to pay Paul, kind of evening them out, but the receiving spouse can't now be above the payer spouse. So they gotta be kind of even. What I always do when I go to court and request alimony is I spell it out. Why does my client need alimony? This is why. They have now to pay rent. They now have to get their own health insurance. They now have to get their own car insurance. All of those things. I like to spell it out. I don't just like to walk in and go, okay, I want this much. Although the new statute, it makes it easier to do that. But still, I just think that's a disservice. I want to show why my client needs the alimony. Now, understand that the court must reduce or terminate award of support or alimony upon specific written findings by the court that a supportive relationship exists between the receiving spouse of the alimony and somebody else. Maybe they've moved somebody into the house and it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a partner and they're sharing expenses. The court is going to look at that and say, you're being supported by somebody. And also you're being supported by your former spouse. Now, that doesn't do away. Florida does not recognize common law marriage. They do not recognize any kind of de facto marriage. They're still in a marriage requires a marriage license and a ceremony where you get married and it's filed in the court. But the state of Florida realizes that more and more people are living together, right? Living together, sharing expenses, paying for things, all of that. So they want to acknowledge that and not have the payor be supporting not only the former spouse, but now the former spouse's boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever it may be. So also they can modify it based on retirement because we don't have to work forever. We don't have to work forever to pay alimony to somebody. What we can do is we can retire. We can ask for a modification or even a termination if necessary. And how you do that is you have to file at least 6 months before you retire. So you can't do it like, hey, I retire tomorrow. Hey, I'm not going to pay anymore. You must file a petition for modification at least 6 months before you retire so that you can make sure that the court hears it and you can, solidify that time. Anyway, I think I did pretty good on that. So, look at that, Candela. My boyfriend and I lived together for many years and now we're breaking up. Am I entitled to alimony? Perfect question, Candela. No, you are not. I get this question all the time. Me and my boyfriend and my girlfriend, my partner, we lived together for 10 years, 15 years, and now we're breaking up. I want him to pay the house note, my car insurance, my medical insurance, my car payment. Now, if you can get your former boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, to do that, fabulous. If they agree to that, fabulous. There's nothing in the law that requires them to do that. What is it? Judge Judy says it the best. She says, if you guys want to play house but don't want to get married, don't come to the court to ask for help because Florida does not recognize, like I said, common law or de facto marriage. So if you weren't married, you're not getting alimony. Alimony is only for marriage. As I said, short-term, moderate, and long-term marriage. Excellent question, Candela. Anyway, okay, well, I think I did good. Like I said, I came in under time, so y'all still have time to relax. My next live will be August 27th, which I just want to FYI, that is going to be after my birthday. My birth date is actually next Thursday. And a little hint, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm going to tell you I'm a speed limit. that'll give you a little food for thought. So check in August 27th at 2 o'clock. We'll talk about the factors a court take into consideration when they're going to award alimony or if they're going to award alimony. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'm glad your questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our office. Give us a call. I'm here for you if you live in the state of Florida, and I want to make sure that I can answer your questions. So please, 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 I'm here for you. I want to walk you through this new law, and I want to make sure that you get what you deserve or that you pay what is fair. Again, Attorney Laura Sterling, I'll see you the 27th. Bye.